Hi everyone, Nathan here with ATC Cooling and Heating in Kingsport, Tennessee. Today we're going to talk about a new heat pump from Trane and why you should seriously consider it for your next system. First, what is a heat pump? A heat pump is an air conditioning system that, in addition to cooling your home, can also heat your home. To do so, it simply reverses the flow of refrigerant and pumps heat into your home as opposed to out of your home like in AC season. The process is considerably more efficient than electric baseboard or emergency heat, which are just resistance heating systems. In fact, heat pumps are not uncommonly 3 times more efficient than electric resistance heat. But heat pumps have long had a problem heating when the outdoor temperatures get really cold. Heat pumps are rated at an outdoor temperature of 47 degrees. But what happens when it is 30 degrees or 20 or even just 5 degrees outside? The amount of work or energy to pull heat out of the air at low temperatures is much more than to pull heat out at 47 degrees. And that means that at 5 degrees, most heat pumps make far less heat than they do at more moderate temperatures. Let's look at some examples. The Trane XR14 heat pump, model number starting with 5 TWR4, they're solid but basic units. They work well and are reliable. At 14 SEER and 7.5 HSPF, they provide the minimum allowable efficiency for a residential split system heat pump. Now at 47 degrees, a 4-ton XR14 will make about 43,000 BTUs. At 17 degrees, that has fallen to about 28,400 BTUs, and at 5 degrees, the heat output is just 21,800 BTUs. Or just 51% of its rated capacity. Let's write that down. 51%. This is a number to remember. The Trane XR15, which is model numbers starting with 5 TWR5, they have better efficiency ratings at 16 SEER and 8 to 8.5 HSPF when paired with a variable speed air handler like the 5TEM6. But it similarly falls off in heat output at low temperatures. For the 4-ton model, same size, at 47 degrees, it is rated at 43,500 BTUs. At 17 degrees, its output falls to 29,200 BTUs. And at 5 degrees, it makes 22,600 BTUs. If I was to draw it on the board, it looks kind of like this, just above the XR14. Overall, when you get to 5 degrees, it's making 52% of its rated capacity. On the other side of the spectrum, Trane's premium XV20 system, that's model numbers starting with 5 TWVOX, boasts efficiencies of 20 SEER and 9.7 HSPF. Really fabulous numbers. And since these units use an inverter compressor and feature variable output from 25% to 100% capacity, they achieve much better cold weather performance. The 4-ton XV20 makes 47,500 BTUs at 47 degrees, 43,000 at 17 degrees, and 33,800 at 5 degrees. If I was to draw it on the board, it would look like this. So much better than the XR14 and 15 models. And that ends up with a 71% rated capacity, which is a big improvement. Of course, the Trane XV20 is a premium heat pump, and it carries a premium price too. And that is where today's featured product comes in. The Trane 5 HPL5 model heat pump is a 16 SEER unit with rated efficiency performance pretty similar to the XR15. But it has even better cold weather performance than the premium XV20. As a side discharge inverter system, it's really quiet outside too. At 47 degrees, it's rated at a heating capacity of 48,000 BTUs. 17 degrees, it makes 42,000. At 5 degrees, it's still making 38,000 BTUs. If I drew it on the board, it would look like this. Especially notable is the difference out here at the 5 degree mark. And that's still 79% of its rated capacity at 5 degrees. A phenomenal performance, especially if you live in a colder climate. Here in eastern Tennessee, that sort of performance will make a big difference in your January electric bill, as a system will need very little help from the emergency electric heat kit. And best of all, the 5 HPL5 side discharge heat pump is priced really well, pretty equivalent to the XR15. Again, 79% at just 5 degrees. So when it comes time for you to replace your heat pump, I recommend getting a quote on the 5 HPL5 unit from Trane. If you have any questions about heat pumps or really anything ATC, just leave a comment here or connect with us at atcservice.com. Thanks for watching.